Okay then guys, we're hitting this point yet again, and the community does seem to tell tale by the comment section and Reddit itself. This game seems to be hitting its apex point as it's completely flown past it and starting to deplete yet again. What does that mean for the franchise? Let's talk about it. If you haven't already, smash the beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe, post notifications turned on, it'd be greatly appreciated. And with that being said, let's get into Outriders. So with Outriders, this is a tale as old as time. This has been a struggle since the day that the game ever released. Although this time round it has been a much better experience, it seems that our experience may be coming to a very short end. As we know, the way that the game is right now, we have got a choice of two things that you guys can do, one of which is expeditions, which if the first year is anything to go by, you guys have definitely rinsed the living life out of those already, and Tarrier Gratar, the trials themselves, the new endgame activity which leads a loot cycle to a whole new meaning. This thing is beginning to get a little bit tedious now, and that's just for me on my own, let alone some of you guys who are some hardcore grinders, I may add. Not only that, but with the most recent patch updates causing a bit of a ruckus, we've got the issues with Pyromancer and the phase beam being a bit of a problem. We've also got Mage's Rage that has been rectified, which has completely knocked off half of the availability that you guys have when it comes to build diversity. This is something which is going to be an issue going forward, mainly because build crafting is practically the only thing that we have inside of this game at this point, leading us to kind of be completely capped and somewhat tunnel visioned into what it is that we're available to do. This does become a little bit frustrating because Mage's Rage was one of the only things that were enabling us to give those builds a bit of a pack-a-punch, if you want to call it that. But right now, we're sat at a stagnant point. The build diversity has managed to dwindle its way down to maybe 1 or 2 builds per character yet again, and we're now getting so bored of Tarrier Gratar that I'd rather see the back end of a donkey. Now when we look at the update cycle and the way that the game is going as of right now, we have got some very minor updates that are going to be due to come up over the oncoming months. At the end of this month, we know that we've got a very minuscule update that's going to be causing very little amount of time and resources, and yes, that is a dig. With it only really rectifying a few known issues, and some of them issues on the patch notes actually being already back-end updates that have already been applied and just moved into the mainframe of the actual game files. That doesn't really affect many of us whatsoever. Not only that, but we've now got a few things that we know that are being rattled. So the phase beam has obviously rattled Arcs quite a bit, so we know full well that he may well be working on that after the podcast that we actually did with the Full Measure and Play-Doh Bear and Arcs himself. We know that that's something that they are going to be looking at because it is a frustration level. But after the way that the balance options have gone with this game, it does seem that we are being very much funneled down into a selective route that we can take as far as our build diversity. And again, I will stress for the third time in this video, a game that is solely revolved around build crafting and build diversity seems to be a bit of a poor decision on their part yet again, and this seems to be something that we seem to get quite suffered from when it comes to this game company. We suffer from their poor decisions quite frequently. We have been discussing this quite a bit in a lot of the live streams I've been putting out just recently, and this doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. It feels like this is very much going to be a couple more updates before we hit what is the apex of World Slayer, before we can expect the next installment or the next title due to come out for the Outriders franchise. As an overall, don't get too excited just yet. We probably are not looking at anything for at least the next 10 to 12 months before anything else releases for this game, and if it does come up early, then I'll swallow my Tic Tacs now, because I don't feel like that's going to be the case. But anywho, this is where we're left at, and it's very sad to see that the depletion rate of the community is now starting to plummet yet again. Therefore, leading for other franchises such as Destiny, The Division, and other games as a complete different subgenre are now benefiting from the downfall of Outriders. One of which I am going to start covering here on the channel. We're looking at Destiny quite a lot, and we've know now that we've only got around 2 weeks before the new season for Destiny 2, and it does seem to be one of the only things that we can really dive into. A lot of other games that are releasing at the moment, including Dying Light, and we've got the new Saints Row release at the end of this month, do seem to be a lot more exciting rather than endlessly pummeling into Tarrier Gratar, and That's just putting it politely. As an overall, this was the one and only rant video that you'll see on Outriders from me, and I know that we have had a fair share of them in the past, but this is going to be the one and only final rant piece for such a game. We are going to look and cover into as many things that we can do when patch updates update, and any builds that we manage to weep through the bloody woodworks as far as this tunnel visioned piece of crap does. But that seems to be where we lead ourselves at. We are going to be springing up into new games and doing some other things, such as after year 1, what we did is we went on to Elden Ring and other titles altogether and enjoyed quite a giant variety of different games, of which we grew our community substantially. So hopefully you guys will be along for the ride. Let me know what your opinions are of Outriders right now in the comment section below, and let's get some conversations going on where this future is going, because it seems bloody bleak to me yet again. Thanks again for watching, guys. Appreciate all your faces. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the clouds.